On today's World Inside, Chinese-American stand-up comedian Jimmy O. Yang back on a comedy tour in China after 2 decades in America. So what jokes do Chinese audiences lap up? How has being a mixed culture child helped him draw the laughs? Hear from Jimmy O. Yang as a bridge builder.
I am Chinese, but I also live in America, so I feel like I should, say something about it, and it's also a frustration.
Hello and welcome to World Insight with me, Tian Wei. Life is challenging. It helps to have a few laughs. Some in the world can do it really well. Jimmy O. Yang is one of them. A rising star of the U.S. stand-up comedy, he was born in Hong Kong, later moved to the U.S. with the family as a teenager. But he's also very proud of his roots, as his family originated from Shanghai. One could say he is an epitome of mixed cultures. So when he talks about what he feels in his show, they actually echo with audiences around the world. His works also went viral across the Pacific. I had a great talk with him prior to his big shows in Hong Kong. Our conversation took place in Beijing, a city he loves to visit. A lot of topics and great fun.
Hi. I know. I eat like 5 meals a day here. I must have gained so much weight. There's just so much good food.
Did you call your mom?
I talked to her on WeChat on the messages. Yeah.
Oh, you did?
She loves it. She says she never used to go on Xiaohongshu, and now she goes on once a day to see my content and who's taking picture like with me because they post it. They're like,
so that she know what's going on in China today, right?
Yeah, yeah.
She travel here pretty often, right?
Yeah, but not recently. But she'll come to my show in Hong Kong, so our family will be together again in Hong Kong.
Your, show with a theme, Jimmy, guess how much?
Yeah.
That went viral.
I
Not only
know.
here in China, but also in the rest of the world.
Yeah. I was very happy about that because I didn't know, because this was before I even joined Xiaohongshu. And then my mom was telling me, hey, your auntie and your uncle in Shanghai sent us this video of yours. They translated and everything.
People love to brag about how much money they spend. Asian people, on the other hand, we do the exact opposite. We love to brag about how little money we spent on some shit. Because the art is in the savings. You never pay full price. Like my mom, her catchphrase is, guess how much? Guess how much? Yeah, that's our people. You guys ever play Guess How Much? My mom would come home with something new, like a watch. She'll be like, Jimmy, guess how much? Guess how much?
And I was really happy about that. And that, I think, like with that last special, this whole special is called Guess How Much, and I started getting more personal. I started talking about my family, my real experiences, and instead of like translating everything to English, I even put in some Cantonese, and I just said it how exactly my mom would call me, like, Jimmy, and how my mom would talk like as a Shanghainese one was like, oh yo. Yeah. And people loved it. And I think sometimes you just gotta share your truth. And like, I have friends from every culture, American friends or even my Middle Eastern friends. They're like, my mom is like that too. So I think sometimes you just gotta tell your story, and be vulnerable and be honest.
But I would guess it's not easy for people to really find their own version of the story.
That's true.
And be able to express it in a way and a situation that others would feel the echoes.
Yes.
How did you find this common theme? I mean, you've been a comedian for quite some time.
Yeah.
But this topic has become such a signature. How did you find it?
That's such a great question. I think on average, it takes a comedian like 10 years to find your own voice. And the great thing about stand-up comedy is the only way to get better is to perform in front of a real audience.
Is there real
Yeah.
official statistics about that?
Oh, I don't know. I just think like my first special
Yeah.
called Good Deal, it took me 10 years. The second special only took me 2 years because I started finding my
Of
voice,
course,
right?
yeah.
And the next one I'll keep like going. But I think the great thing is you get an immediate reaction from the audience. If they laugh, that means they relate to your joke. That means they like it. If they don't laugh, go home, rewrite it, come back, be better the next day.
Right.
So for me, it's been 15 years of trial and error and writing and rewriting and being on stage thousands of times to find what works for me and what works for my audience. I think, I still remember the very first time I did an open mic when I was 21 years old. I had to pay $5 to the comedy club for them to let me go on stage for
I
5
see.
minutes. I was not very good at first, but still I liked it. I felt a sense of community. It's a creative outlet that I never knew that I could do. Because you don't need a tool, right? I don't need a guitar. I don't need singing lessons. I don't need running shoes. I can
need
just go on
here.
stage. That's it. It's my thought straight to your ears.
And here.
Yeah, and here. A lot of it is here, I
Yeah.
think. And then I think the first time that I kind of had an inkling that I might have made it in stand-up comedy was my first televised set. It was on the Arsenio Hall show. So the Arsenio Hall show, he's an old talk show host like Johnny Carson and Jay Leno. But his audience is mostly black people. So he's interviewed Eddie Murphy, Prince, Michael Jackson, Mike Tyson, everyone, right? He's a legend. And I get to go on his show. I think the first Chinese comedian to be on his show to do comedy. And I was nervous. It was my first TV set that was filmed.
How you guys doing? Lovely. It's great to be here. Seriously amazing for me to be here tonight. Like, I'm so blessed. I'm actually an immigrant. I moved to this country when I was 13 years old from Hong Kong, China. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
And then the audience was 80-90% African American. And I was nervous. I did 5-8 minutes and I got a standing ovation. My
Wow.
first standing ovation. I was so lucky to get it on that TV show. And I was like, oh my God, maybe I did something right here, you know?
This transcends, right?
I hope so. I think so.
Having said that though, this phrase, guess how much, could become viral. Also for another reason. There's a tariff war going on.
Oh, yes, of
Everybody was
course.
saying this is how much now. You know,
Yeah.
everybody is checking the price tag every day.
Yeah.
But you are so brave in tackling those questions into your, stand-up.
My stand-up, yeah. Usually I don't talk about politics
Right.
in life or in stand-up. That's not what I'm pretty ignorant when it comes to politics. But the tariff thing, I felt like, I don't know, because I am Chinese, but I also live in America. So I
Yeah.
feel like I should, say something about it. And it's also a frustration and an unfairness, I feel like, that was shared with everyone globally. Everyone globally suffered
Unfair
from
about
it.
what?
The tariff,
For whom?
the hiked up price, that it was a bit unfair to put tariffs on everyone for no reason. And then the American people suffered and everyone globally suffered. And I think it became a shared frustration for everyone. So when I just went on stage and talked about it, I didn't have to pick a side or whatever. I just said my frustration
Right.
and everyone shared the same sentiment. And usually when I, make a joke or shoot something, I wait until 1 year later to shoot a special, right? Like Guess How Much or something. But this one, I'm like, it's so timely. I have to put it out.
Right.
And I was very happy that I guess people resonated because it got a lot of views and I guess people liked it,
But these days, comedians have so many things to cook. There are so many things going on in the world that really, in the essence, are ridiculous.
Right.
How would you choose, your topic?
Yeah, once again, the tariff, I would say it's almost like a one-off thing that I did, because of my own frustration and the global frustration. Usually I stay away from politics and I talk about myself, like my family, like what made me who I am. How the reason why you know me is not because I talk about politics. It's because I talk about my mom.
Yes.
Because I talk about my experience in America. At the end of the day, what I hope my comedy would do is for an audience, whether they grew up like me, like Chinese or not, to feel seen, to relate to me and be like, wow, I didn't know other people's moms are like that too. wow, and everyone's laughing. I didn't know, wow, I felt so out of place when I came to America or when I was an immigrant, but like, wow, he's like that too? That's cool. That made me feel better, you know?
They would not only find what they feel like, share some common experiences online in social media, but they can come into a comedian club and be
Yes.
able to share with someone from a very different culture upstage.
And I think that's the best thing about live performances,
Yes.
whether it's music or comedy especially. When you say a joke and the entire audience is laughing, they're not just laughing and sharing a laugh, they're sharing an experience. They're sharing life together because they all agree, they're like, wow, we like this. Because in comedy, I don't think it's funny when you say something funny, when you make up something outrageous. It's funny when the audience would be like, oh my God, that is so true, right? The truth is funny. They're like, oh my God, my mom does that. That's when they laugh.
I love that. That's exactly the secret, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's important to not just bring laughs. That is the most important thing in stand-up, but also to have the shared experience and really tell a real story. So sometimes there are serious moments when you come to my stand-up show, you know, and then sometimes there's laughs. And this new set, which you haven't seen, you'll see if you come to one of the live shows, is about me kind of coming home and getting back in touch with my roots and things like that. And a lot of times it's quite emotional because I felt like for the last 20 years I lost touch with my Chinese side. So it's very personal and important journey for me to come back, and I want to share that with the audience.
Wow, I'm so much looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Can you maybe share just a small part of it? Just
Sure.
a moment or two?
I think what inspired it, because the set always starts with jokes. I try
Yeah.
it with comedy clubs, it starts with jokes. And then there's one moment I was helping my parents clean the old basement in their house in America, and I found my old diary from when I was 9 years old that I
Wow,
wrote.
that's quite a writer.
I know, that I wrote when I was in Hong Kong, all written in Chinese, right? And me, I'm 37 years old now, I couldn't read a single word of it. I can't read Chinese anymore. And I was so embarrassed and so sad, and I have to give it to my dad to translate it for me. Of course, you never want your parents to read your diary, he just started laughing at me, you know?
What did you write?
I mean,
I hate them, you know.
yeah, just a lot of
Why did you guys?
complaints.
Yeah,
Why did
right.
you take me to ping pong practice again? I don't want to do this, you know? So there's a lot of complaints, and like my dad was making fun of me, but then I'm like, wow, this is so embarrassing. This is my first language. You know, I grew up Chinese and I can't read it anymore. So that's when I decided I need to really come back. Wasn't even for work at first. It was a vacation, a personal journey, if you will, to kind of just see the apartment that I grew up in Hong
And
Kong.
find further underground diaries.
Bring back memories. And of course, my parents are very Shanghainese. You know,
Yes.
we speak Shanghainese at home. So I want to go back to places in Shanghai and also visit new places, you know, to kind of be informed as a Chinese person again.
So what does that mean to you? You know, what you have learned during those trips, including this one?
Yeah, I've learned a lot. First of all, I've learned how ignorant and limited my knowledge of China was, even though I am such a proud Chinese person living in America. Because I've been in America for 20 years. All I knew about China was news stories, right? And it's very surface level. And then when I came back, especially when I went to like Shanghai, Beijing, and a lot of stuff, like I see restaurants. Every restaurant I see, the interior design is amazing. You know, the convenience, the people, and the technology in China. Everything is so advanced, and these are the things that I'm almost embarrassed. Like I didn't know, because in America, China is just a news story, like China tariff, or like China this and that, whatever, right?
Without temperature.
Without actual the living, the you know, quality of living, the people, without human interaction, right? Like it's just a country
A topic.
instead of the people. And coming back here, you know, like noticing how safe everything is, how nice everything is, and how advanced everything everywhere is. I was like floored and really impressed, and also that's why it's like really fun and cool for me to share it on Xiaohongshu and Instagram, I think sometimes even more important for me sharing on Instagram for my American friends to
Do
know.
people believe you?
Yeah, I think so. I hope so. I would think so. Yeah, but for
With
me,
your true experience.
it's not like nobody's paying me to do this,
No,
right? Like
yeah.
it's honest, and I'm just sharing my own happiness and experience here. Cause man, it was so funny. My first trip back here, when I was in Beijing, I called my friend. You know, we talk all the time, and this was 2 months ago. And you know what his first question was? He was like, "Jimmy, how's the air quality there?" I was like, "What? Are you kidding me? That's your first question? It's fine. It's great. I'm walking around, you know." But that's how misinformed a lot of maybe not just Americans, but people around the world is, you know. And for me to be here on the ground and then to be able to share, even just me eating food or like meeting people or like just walking around, you know, day to day in Shanghai, and how safe it is in Beijing and Shanghai and like Hong Kong.
You can
It's
just
very
put the
nice.
delivery in front of the door. Nobody's gonna take it away.
I know, and you don't know how many times people's taken my delivery in America, okay? Like Amazon packages get stolen all the time in front of my house.
Here, you just see lined up of lunch boxes. For example, in front of university doors, right?
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna take it away.
Yeah, great. That's awesome.
It's just very different.
It's very nice. And then coming back here, because I can still speak the language, I mean, I'm practicing my Mandarin.
Yeah.
I think in America, I've been there for so long, and it's always, as an immigrant, I wanted to fit in, especially when I was younger, right? Because so you don't get bullied. Like when I couldn't speak English at first, when I moved, when I started, you get bullied, and you just want to be part of, you know, that like whatever the norm of that, right? So every day is a fight to fit in, and still, maybe I'm used to it now, but I didn't realize how stressed out I am until I came back here, until I came back home, basically. And then all the stress got lifted off my shoulder because I don't have to represent Asian.
You don't have to prove it.
Right? Everyone is just here having a good time, and I am part of it. Nobody looks at me weird. Like, you know, in America, even till today, people ask me, like, so what are you, Japanese, Chinese, Korean? Like, what are you? When do you come here? Like, you know, it's annoying.
How do you, as a comedian, be able to find the right balance while at the same time stay true to yourself?
Yeah, I think it starts with what I know and my own experiences, as small as a family interaction or an interaction with a friend, you know, personal experiences. But I think part of my growth it also involves learning about new stuff. Like I said, I don't really follow politics, you know, but you know, now being here and learning about all the blind spots. Like I never went to school past 6th grade, 7th grade in Hong Kong, so I don't know anything about the recent Chinese history, the recent Chinese politics, anything, right? So now that I'm learning, and maybe that will inform some new stuff and new thoughts in me, right? Because I think a job as an artist, whether a comedian, musician, or actor, you have to grow. You have to be curious. And I think that's why I'm so excited to be back here to learn about everything, even the arts, even me watching Chinese movies, Chinese TV shows. It's really cool. I think it opens up my mind and
What
my
kind of
world.
movie?
So I watched at first I went back to Hong Kong and I watched Po Di Yu.
Oh,
You know, one of my
that's a
favorite
great
actors.
movie.
Great movie with Wang Ziwa. Great filmmaking. I remember watching that. After I watched it, I called my friend on Netflix. I'm like, this should be on Netflix. Have you guys thought about this? And then of course I watched Ne Zha here.
Oh, okay, you did? How was it?
Brilliant film.
Really?
I mean, it
You
was
like it?
beautiful. And that's something for me to learn too, because I think every Chinese person knows about the Ne Zha, the mythical
story, so-
I actually didn't. Just once again, the cinematography, the
And you know
technology,
that?
everything.
Yeah,
that
that movie,
story, it's
yes.
beautiful.
That story has become the top
I
in
heard.
box office
I heard.
in the world.
Yeah, and then a lot of TV series are very, very good too. I was watching Fan Hua, you know, one of my favorite directors growing up.
A series about-
Wong Kar-wai, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just really, really happy to be able to, you know, kind of in my journey of getting in touch, like finding about all these new artists, great directors, great writers, and great actors.
But also, you yourself participated in Netflix productions, HBO, and the
Yeah.
list goes on. So, in a way, bilingual into two different cultures makes you have the opportunity to appreciate both and maybe eventually
Yes.
participate in both.
I would totally be open to it, you know, as long as it's, you know, I mean, there's so many people I'm still yet to learn, but everyone I'm learning about, I really admire, and it's really cool. Yeah.
I know a lot of young people are your audience, among your audience in both countries.
Right, right.
They want to hear from you, people like you, you know.
Uh-huh.
Give them some advice or guidance as to what if there are setbacks like this?
Wow. First of all, I wasn't aware of this, so I'm learning again from you, and I want to hear more.
A lot
from
of
you
young
about
people
this.
came up to me and asked me the same question because I'm bilingual. I'm
Yeah.
trying to be a bridge, but you are the same, right? You are
Yeah.
the bridge between the two countries, two culture, and beyond.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you that question, so I have a better answer for them.
Well, from my limited knowledge, I would like to know more about this,
Sure.
and we can continue this conversation.
Right.
But from my knowledge, you know, when I was in college in America, one of the best things I did was to study abroad. You know, I don't think, like, you know, like I went to Italy, you know, and it wasn't even about the academics. I don't think I learned too much on the books, right? And I tried to learn Italian. I didn't learn.
Make sure your teachers are not watching this
It's
one.
okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. They did those there in Italy. But you know, I think it was very important because it opened my eyes. It made me more independent. That I know that I can live in any country, you know, and you know, make new friends and learn new things. So I think it opened my eyes to not just. I don't know how people are in China. I'm, you know, not familiar with the youth, and I want to learn more. But people in America, a lot of times, is too focused on just America. They never left America, you know. So the fact that I get to go to Italy to study there, you know, it really opened up my eyes to like being like more global, seeing the world, you know, and of course being from China also helps, right? And speaking different languages. So I think I always encourage, when I do, sometimes in America, I do college shows for college kids. And one of the things I always tell them is like, go study abroad. It's very important to have that worldview, you know?
So how do you expect your next stage of professional life would be like? As a comedian, are you already planning or?
Yeah, I'm falling back in love with stand-up. You know, like before, after I shot Guess How Much, I was so tired because I was shooting a TV show, I was touring all the time. But now I'm like ready to really get back into stand-up, especially knowing that the global audience is really showing me so much love, you know, from Hong Kong to London, Amsterdam, America, like Canada and everywhere. So I'm gonna expand the tour, do a little more, you know, touring. And personally, I think, you know, one of the reasons why I'm also coming back here so much is to better my Mandarin, you know? And I think maybe there's a chance I can do some material also, you know, in Chinese as well as English to kind of challenge myself, but also give back to the audience here that's shown me so much love, you know? And for me, art always starts with a personal journey. You know, if I feel excited about something, like exploring about China, you know, learning more about Chinese people again and everything, it gets me excited. I think it will then inform, you know, my stand-up and my art on the next step of it.
Right. Another serious note, if I
Sure.
could. Earlier, a lot of people talk about America exceptionalism.
Oh.
That's a big word, right?
Uh-huh.
Now there seems to be a process of demystifying it.
Oh, interesting.
And your work is part of that process, contributing to people's better understanding of a complex country like America. That's a very interesting role you're playing right now.
You know,
Did you know it?
I had no idea.
No.
I had no idea. I don't volunteer for any of these roles.
Of course.
And I think maybe these are roles that I unintentionally play or people think I'm playing, and if it helps demystify anything, great.
Great.
But I don't go out with that intention. I go out to make people laugh.
You
and
can
to
now
make people have a good
demystify
time.
China
Yeah.
for many of the people who listen to you in the United States or live shows.
Well, I think that's kind of like just by me doing what I'm doing, I do that as a byproduct. Almost, because I'm just going about living my life and then posting about it, and then also, of course, answering a call from my friend that asked about air quality. That motivated me to like, oh my God, yeah. And also, you know, even like someone like Speed, his recent visit in China, I thought that was great for the world, right? Like I think.
Do you guys know each other?
No, I never met him, but I thought he's just living his life. You know, he's just trying to get views on his. But he showed a very human, fun, and nice side of China that, you know, usually you don't see at the news. All of that, I didn't set out with such intention.
Or just have fun.
Exactly. I think that's important. Just have fun and just be honest, right? And I think throughout this, even throughout this whole interview, like, it's just being honest. We're just having a conversation. I don't try to talk about things I don't know, you know, and I'm very, you know, like if I don't know anything, I admit to you, I'm like, I don't know this. Like, maybe I need to learn more about this. But if I do know something, like I know how stand-up works with stand-up audience, then I'll tell you, you know. But, you know, I think it's just being honest and staying in your lane and then just doing what you do best. And for now, what I do best is making people laugh and having the audience relate. And they found me the same way I found them. You know, I don't set out to be like, hey, I want this to be my audience. I think I tell my jokes, I tell my family, you know, I tell about myself, and then my audience found me. So that's been very nice.
I learned a lot. Jimmy, thank
Really?
you so much.
Thank you so much.
So good to see you.
Thank you.
So good to
Thank
see
you.
you.
Thank you.
Jimmy O. Yang, great fun, isn't it? A rising star in stand-up comedy in the US. Many of the issues he talks about echo with audiences around the world. And that's all the time we have for today. If you'd like to know more, search World Insight or check out our YouTube channel. Follow us on X and Facebook. I'm Tian Wei on behalf of the team. Thanks for being with us and have a great weekend. Bye for now.